I was listening to one of your talks, and you were talking about, like, head congestion, and I keep having head congestion and blocks in my ear. I can't seem to get it to release or go away.
When did it start, Lisa?
Oh, it's been years.
So it's chronic?
Yeah, I mean, it gets worse, and sometimes it gets better, but it never goes away.
Does it seem like it's purely sinus?
I went to an ENT, and they told me there was some infection on the one side in my nasal cavity, but they really couldn't do anything about it.
Okay, so I'm going to start with the body first. If you go to my YouTube channel and you look for the alternate nostril breathing video, and you use that, that will immediately push you through blockage. Like, you'll be sitting there, you're supposed to do 10 rounds of it, and for you, I would do it at least twice a day. It's a yogic, what's called pranayama. It's one of the 8 limbs. It's right. As important as the body postures in yoga, yeah. And so, like, you do 10 rounds of it. So back and forth, right to left nostril to right nostril, then right nostril to left nostril. You'll see what I mean, is one round.
I've done that before.
Okay, so like around the 3rd round, you get all congested, and it's almost impossible to deal with it. But you keep plugging through and doing it anyway. Blow your nose when you're that congested. It's like the 3rd or 4th or 5th round, whenever it happens, Lisa, and then continue on to complete the 10 rounds. You do it twice a day consistently. You could also use bee pollen. Lisa, where do you live?
In Virginia.
Okay, so there's different pollen there than like in New Jersey or Florida or Spain. So you could go on Amazon and you could order bee pollen, but you could end up with bee pollen from Spain. And that's not going to help you as much with the sinus congestion than if you use the local bee pollen in like a smoothie, or just take a capsule for it if you don't do smoothies. But do your best to find as local a bee pollen as you can get, and take a tablespoon of that a day. So those are the more physicalized aspects. When I'm going to ask you this, Lisa, tell me how it feels intuitively to you. Is it a yes or a no? When I say to you, you've relied on your intellect and you have strong intuitive power, but you've not really allowed your intuition to be as involved and active in your life as you could be.
That's yes.
Okay, that's the metaphysical cause. It's blockage of the 6th chakra. Lisa, do you tend to be more serious and focused on problems than you do on like lightness and solutions?
That's correct.
Okay. So when we're more problem focused and problem solving, like I sometimes hear people say, I'm an excellent problem solver. And I'm like, that's great, but what if you weren't needing to be an excellent problem solver? You know?
There are no problems.
Right. That's also why it's also in part why I don't call myself a healer, only in part. But, you know, I'm not talking about healing stuff as much as like, let's activate your fullest potential. And yeah, I'll clear stuff that's in the way. But I mean, you have innate potential within you, and then the universe says, let's look these up together and see how far we can go. So on that note, what am I saying? So on that note, the 6th chakra, one of the symptoms of it being blocked is, you may have seen from the self-assessment you did when you first came in on the Chakra Attunement Audio Series page on my website, when you're more focused on problems or you tend to be more serious, that indicates actual blockage of the 6th chakra when we're imbalanced between the intellect and the intuition, for example, just to overly simplify it. So that means then, therefore, Lisa, the 6th and 7th chakra, MP3, is going to be one of the ones. So let me tune into your system right now. The 3rd and the 1st, all of which you have by now, yeah? So
yeah.
If you could, let's rotate those. Can you listen to 3 a day with your lifestyle?
Can I listen to them 3 times a day?
No, 3 of them
That's
a day.
A lot.
Do you have the kind of just one
I could
time?
possibly do that.
All right, then rotate the 1st, the 3rd, and the 6th, 7th, because 6th, 7th, as you know, is on the same MP3.
Okay.
And then, do you worry a lot, Lisa?
No, not really.
Yeah, that didn't feel like a hit. You know what it is? You know how we were talking back in the beginning when you first spoke up about your 5th chakra?
Right, my throat, yeah.
Yep.
My voice.
So, what? Your voice? Did you
Yeah,
say
sometimes
your voice?
it's closed. Yeah, my voice is closed.
In the speaking up gig. Yeah. So, hey, have you been using that speaking up for yourself free gift in the files section in the Facebook group?
You know, I didn't see it. Maybe I have to go look again. I tried most all of them. I haven't got through all of them. There's a couple left.
Yeah, you'll want to get the biggest bang for your buck. Like if you just plow through those, constantly have them on in the background, even if you're not listening to them, but while you're working. Though it's funny, and it's no mistake that your perception didn't perceive that free gift because it's a blockage. So you lean towards the law of attraction of a blocked throat chakra around speaking up isn't going to see the clearings to have an unblocked throat chakra around speaking up. It's the same thing like when we go to a party and we're single and we're heterosexual and we're female and we're used to gravitating towards a certain kind of male. Let's say it's a bad boy. And then there's like these good guys, they're in the room, the sensitive guys, and they don't even fall on our radar, and all we see are the bad boys. We go towards and talk to them, right? So our perception, because of our blocks, doesn't pick up on other possibilities when it's tuned to that familiar resonant vibration via the law of attraction. It's the same thing there. So it happens a lot of the time. So yeah, go back into the free gifts and find that one. You want to use that one because what just came up as I got to know around the worrying is it's the 5th chakra blockage. So when there's a chakra underneath or above one of the core block chakras that has to do with a life pattern, a samskara that we're here as a soul to evolve beyond. When we clear the chakras beneath and above, where that issue is most primarily focused, in which chakra, then we get more release. And so the sinus cavity isn't able to drain. Like, do you get postnasal drip in your throat?
Oh, all the time. I can't get it to stop.
Yeah. I'm taking you off the 1, 3, and 6, 7. Let's instead do the top 4, which is 3 MP3s. The heart chakra, the 4th, the throat chakra, the 5th, and then for the 3rd MP3, the 6th and 7th together.
Okay.
Okay. And then that free gift, speaking up for yourself. And then let me tune in now and see what I can do now. Because, Lisa, one of the things I'm intuiting about you is that you're good with going for potential. You're good with seeing possibilities. Is that accurate?
That is correct.
Okay. And you have the capacity to see a whole lot more and almost like, I wanted to say double, but I got taken right to the quintuple 4 times the amount of possibilities you field, you take action on. Your system can actually ultimately manage 4 times what you currently or are used to handling as how much good fortune flows into your life and possibilities are presented to your life to blossom. And I guess that's in great part why you were led to work with me. Yeah. And so the focus that you have on being serious and this kind of like this task orientation of one foot in front of the other or one step at a time, which is completely intellectually dominated. Because when you're coming from the intuition and more the yin, you can perceive like a sense of the time-space continuum where you can handle like 4 things at once as opposed to the more controlling yang energetic of one step at a time. Is this making sense to describe you?
Yes.
Okay, so what we're working on, Lisa, is shifting you more into those capacities to balance out your brain hemispheric usage, which means left brain is logical, which is in the right side of the head. Which side did they say was blocked when you went to the NT?
Well, I can tell you, it's my left side.
Mm-hmm. So the right side of the brain, of your head, is related to the left brain, the logical, intuitive, let's say yang. The left side of the head, or the face, is the right brain, which is your intuitive, spiritual, more yin part. And so what I just went through saying was clearly pointing out that that would be the side that's blocked because you're not using it as much as you could be to enrich your life and live up to your potential.
Right.
So let me just do the best framing to get the most out of clearing and activation. And it's, Lisa, I want to say this too. This is a really typical pattern in highly successful, in the physical world, women who come in to work with me, where people who are not doing the kind of spiritual path stuff are unaware of unconscious, subconscious, and conscious, and working with it to reaching fullest potential, but where they're just approaching life from the 3D physical reality based on old conditioning, they would point to you and say that you're a successful person, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's most typical, this block, like I have a scientist client, and he had this blockage historically until we got his brain hemispheres all balanced. I have a really successful client who is a marketing professional who has a high-end project management position in a corporation, and she had this problem, or this blockage. And I could go on and I won't. But I just want you to know that, like, the successfulness, what we're doing now is we're building beyond the success you've already been able to create in the 3D reality. You're my client avatar, Lisa. You're my favorite type of person to work because you already take action on behalf of yourself, your project. You already know what success feels like. Now we're bringing in all the additional success and potential that can be reached when dealing with energy and consciousness. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Lisa?
And I'm reaching for it. I'm trying to get there.
And you're here. And you just said yes to more. So you're doing perfectly. That's what I want to communicate to you right now. You're doing perfectly. You're right on track. With the times that we're living in now, the new era coming in, you're just so perfectly timed. You're doing nothing wrong. Is that coming across clear?
Oh, yes. Yes, and I can feel it coming. Like, I feel
Excellent.
all the potential coming at me.
Yes. Excellent. Okay. So then we're going to make your system more responsive to it and more able to communicate with it, allow it in, and work with it. So that's the clearing.